Did you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. He's just so quiet. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Tamara.
I'm Eric.
And today we decided to talk about how you know when you're ready to start a family. These tips aren't like the tips that you have to go by. They're just tips that we kind of went by when it was time for us when we decided it was time for us to have our own family. Okay. The first tip is you want to make sure that you are financially stable, that you're not having to depend on family or having to depend on other people other than you two to take care of your child. We understand things happen, people lose their jobs, so if you can try some kind of savings.
Which not everybody does. And that's fine. You just do what you can. If you know that you want to have kids and you want to prepare for it, prepare for it. Start now. Start preparing for it. Don't wait until the child comes, because then you're going to have expenses come up.
Yeah,
I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people make it out to be.
Yeah.
The initial expenses of getting a bed and all that stuff, luckily we had family help us out with that. That kind of made it where it wasn't too bad for us. But initially there's a lot of expenses, but once you have the necessities, it's not that hard. Like the food and everything isn't that expensive. Like we got them like the best quality stuff we could find, and it still wasn't like incredibly expensive or anything. It's a lot cheaper feeding him than it was feeding me or her.
Yeah, and kids get sick. When Alex was infant, he had RSV, which we had insurance, and insurance covered half of it, but we still had to pay like out of pocket getting the little respirator and getting the medicine that he had to take. So that costs money, and that's what I'm saying. If you have just a little bit set aside for when you have issues like that, when your kids are sick, then you'll be able to take care of it.
Yeah, definitely. If you know you want a kid, or a kid is coming, start making preparations. That's basically it.
Yep. And the number 2 thing is, don't let anybody in your family pressure you, or your friends pressure you to have kids. Like when we first got married, the first year, people were like, "Oh, when are y'all gonna have kids? When y'all already?" Because we'd been together for like 5 years before we got married.
Something like that.
Yeah. And people were always asking us when we were gonna have kids. We didn't have kids until Alex is 2. We've been together for 16 years, so we kind of took our time. We traveled. We did things that we wanted to do before we just kind of said, okay, we're married now, I guess we have to have a family. If you want to go in that direction, that's fine. But for us, or for, I just kind of felt like, I want to travel, and I want to do things that a kid would kind of not weigh you down, but it would take longer to do the things that I wanted to do with him when we first got married, if we had a kid.
And I have the personality type that if you tell me to do something, I'm less likely to do it. I'm going to be more resistant to it.
Duh.
I want to do something because it's what's best for me, or what's best for my family or something, not because it's what somebody wants.
Yeah. You were scared of kids.
I did. Yeah, I never really felt comfortable around kids.
Like, I remember people used to go, "Here, hold da-da-da-da," and you're like, dude, they're not gonna, like, I guess you thought they were gonna, like, vomit or puke on you or something, but you were holding them like...
Well, that too, but also, I thought they broke really easy and stuff like that. Yeah. I was aware that I didn't want the responsibility. I'm responsible enough to know that I'm irresponsible and did not want that responsibility.
Fair. Yeah. I was the same way. I wasn't ready yet. I was like, nah, I want my time, The next tip is childcare. Your job, some jobs these days may offer childcare. They may offer like a FSA or something, flexible savings account, where the money that you make is not taxed yet, and that like a certain percentage of your paycheck goes into a certain account to go towards daycare, any other kind of expenses that come up with your child. It's different from an HSA. I don't know. I'm not like all that human resources and all that, but I'm just saying, some jobs do have childcare. Some jobs do actually have a daycare. If you have a job that does provide daycare, that's awesome. If you have family or friends that you can trust that will watch your child, that don't mind watching your child while you're going to work, that's great too. But you should always consider, if you have childcare, or some kind of child, somebody that can watch your kid, or daycare or something like that. And go ahead, I wish I had done this when Alex was in the womb. Go ahead and start putting your child, because some daycares have waiting lists, and I did not know that. Go ahead and start putting your child, find a great daycare for your child that you're gonna wanna, that's okay. Why are you laughing?
He's been on some waiting list for like over a year.
He has, and that's what I'm saying. I would have put him on the wait if I knew it was going to take that long for him to get in daycare. He would have been, when I found out I was pregnant, I've been like putting him on a waiting list in daycare. It is so ridiculous how long it actually takes to get your child in daycare. But we're very blessed. We do have family that love to watch him and don't want him to go to daycare. So he's 2. And we've been very blessed to not have to put him in daycare, because we have family that, watches him or wants to watch him all the time.
Also, check out the daycare, because a lot of them have where you pay for X amount of weeks, and say it's like $170 a week or something like that.
Like 130.
You might have to pay 6 weeks plus sign up thing and all that. Basically, it's a big commitment if at some of them. Not all of them are like that, obviously.
Yeah.
But just be aware of that if you're going to look at bringing your kid there for daycare.
Like you're saying, if you lose your job and you have to cancel your daycare services, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. If you have to cancel your daycare services, a lot of daycares will not let you out of your contract or whatever it's called. You got to pay out the wazoo. They don't care that you lost your job. So just make sure that you do read the handbook, I think is what they give you when you get ready to put your child in daycare. Yeah.
Which would be a lot more understandable if they didn't have a waiting list with a bunch of people waiting to take the place of the one person. But
exactly.
I can understand a week or something extra or something like that, but like a month and a half or something like that, 6 weeks, come on.
Yeah.
That's a little excessive.
Exactly. The next tip is being physically ready to have a child. Having a child takes a lot out of you physically. Like your body goes through so many changes. You go through like hormone changes, and being in good physical shape and being in good condition will help. It won't solve every single issue, of course. Like unfortunately you have miscarriages where there is nothing that you can do about that. And we actually, on a personal level, we actually suffered a miscarriage. But just making sure that you prepare yourself physically before you get pregnant. If your doctor will tell you, when you tell your doctor you're ready to have, your doctor's supposed to tell you, when you tell your doctor you're ready to have kids, they're going to say, okay, well, make sure that you need to maybe lose this much amount of weight, or maybe start eating this way, or put you on a certain diet if you have some medical issues. So just make sure that you're physically ready also, to carry a baby.
Just giving yourself the best chance to come out healthy and to be able to get your child out healthy. Just give yourself the best opportunity. Take care of yourself, and that's it. I'm not saying you got to do a marathon or anything like that. Just basic stuff. Eat a little bit healthier. Maybe eliminate some sugar or whatever you got to do to get yourself healthy.
Yeah, because when I got pregnant, I was eating everything.
Everybody should do that anyway.
Burger King? Yeah, I was at Burger King every single day. Like, he was Burger King baby. And then Chick-fil-A, I still eat Chick-fil-A. I didn't eat Chick-fil-A a lot until after I had him. And now I'm like, Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. Are you tired of Chick-fil-A yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Your living situation, you need to make sure you're stable enough. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. Basically, you want to kind of have a grip on your life a little bit. You don't want it to be too hectic and chaotic, because if you add a kid into that and that constant responsibility, especially once they get about 2 or 3, and they don't call it terrible twos. Everybody says, "Oh, terrible twos." It's not that the kid is bad when they're 2, and that's just how it is. It's that they become capable of getting into almost everything, and their brain is developed to where they're starting to figure out that child-proof crap. They can get into everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a behavioral thing necessarily, and ours is a sweetheart. But man, he gets into everything. He can climb on everything. There's not much that can stop him.
Yeah, exactly. And with the living situation too, we actually knew that we wanted to have our own living space, have our own house, because we have lived with relatives, because things happen. People lose their jobs. We knew we didn't want to live in an apartment. We went years and years and years and years and years living in an apartment, and we knew that we just wanted, a house and something of our own, so that Alex can have his own bedroom and, can have additional space to play.
We hadn't even talked about really having a kid until after we got a house.
Yeah.
And after we had 2 dogs, and we had dealt with having to take care of something. It's not the same.
Ooh, dogs are not the same as kids. I used to think that. I don't know why I thought that.
It's a good, all right, having a puppy is almost like having a kid.
Yeah.
Having an unpotty trained puppy, that's kind of the same thing, but it grows up and it learns in a matter of weeks, not months and years.
Yeah.
So it is a longer period, but there's still a lot of overlap with it.
The next tip is, are you ready to give up your freedom, your free time, your you time? That's something that I struggled with for a long time, to be honest with you, because I like to, Eric can tell you, like when we first got together, a lot of times I'd be like, you know what, it's 12 o'clock at night. I want to go to Walmart. And I just get up and go. Like I just kind of did my own thing, because I didn't really have anybody, like there to where, okay, I can't leave, because like now I have Alex and I can't do that, because if he wakes up, in the middle of the night, Eric's here, but Eric sleeps like a log. Like he's not going to hear him wake up like I would hear him wake up. So it's just little things like that. And then like if you're a partier, or if you like to go out and you like to have fun with your friends, when you have a kid, you can still do that, but it's gonna be a wow. Like that child, if that doesn't change for you, if your partying lifestyle and all that doesn't change when you have a kid, then you ain't ready to have a kid. Okay, if you're still out there partying, living it up,
too late at that point.
It is. But if you're still out there partying, living it up, somebody else is watching your child, that ain't right. Like you're not ready to be a kid. I'm not saying you can't go out, and everybody should have, not ready to be a parent, not a kid, what I'm talking about. Not everybody is, ready to be a parent on that level, like you have to say, okay, you can have your mama time with your friends, or have your daddy, or what y'all call it?
Father, son?
No, like when you have your God time out and stuff.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't call it anything.
But when you can have your time with your friends out, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, like when you come to a point where you're starting to put your fun time before your child, that's not, that don't need to happen. Like shame on you, just, you have to, when you have a child, when you become a parent, you have to put that child first and foremost. I don't care how much you want to go out and have that drink. If you don't have a babysitter, or if your child is sick, or you shouldn't be doing it, just don't do it. Because there are plenty of times where I want to just, go out and like just go to Barnes and Nobles and just sit down and find a good book and read and sip on some coffee by myself. But I know there's a lot of times I'm not going to be able to do that, so just think about that if you're considering, having a child. Am I ready to give up that freedom, that I have now?
Oh, we basically went over this already with an earlier point. About preparing for having a child. This is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ready, that kid's gonna be your focus, and it should be anyway. But if you're ready, it's definitely gonna take over the that's gonna be your top priority, and everything else is gonna become secondary, tertiary, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, the kid's gonna be first.
And the next tip is making sure that you have a strong relationship with your significant other. I didn't have postpartum depression when I had Alex, but I did go through like some kind of hormonal imbalance. And, you know, he was there. He was there to help me with myself. He was there to help me, you know, with Alex. And being a first-time parent for us, well, for me anyway, it was scary. I don't know if it was for you. You probably already like was just ready to go.
Pretty scary because you don't know yet. You don't know what health problems the kid's gonna have.
Yeah.
You don't know what that kid's gonna do. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. The next tip is how your pets react around kids in general. Some pets or some dogs or some cats are not great with babies or whatever kind of pet you have. People these days have so many different pets.
Yeah.
But, generally speaking, I'm just talking about most people have either dogs or cats. Me personally, we had a dog, and we had the 2 dogs for a while before we actually decided to have Alex. The first dog, Appa, we raised him from a puppy. The second dog was Zoe, and we adopted her from the Humane Society, and she was...
She took a little work. She was shy and everything,
she
and
did.
and
She wasn't aggressive.
Still a little crazy. She's absolutely crazy, but she's a sweetheart.
She ate our house, dude. Like she
ate
the baseboards in our house. She destroyed 2 couches.
She had a little anxiety.
30 a little anxiety, dude. That's another video. But yeah. So we knew that she was good with kids because there was a small child coming out of the Humane Society as we were going in, and the child actually bent down to pet her, and she didn't even react to it. She just kind of accepted it.
She was more calm,
yeah,
and submissive with the kid than just about anybody.
Yeah, and she is. I call her my mama dog because she's always looking out for Alex. Like wherever Alex is, she is pretty much. And I don't trust any dog or any cat around a baby 100%. I'm not saying that I just, leave Alex with her or anything, and just not watch him. But the thing is, I know how Appa and Zoe responded around other kids before we had Alex. If there is an issue where you have a dog, I know a lot of people, unfortunately, I had a friend that she had to get rid of her dog that she had for years because it was aggressive toward the baby. It's just a lot of dogs don't really adapt to a change in their environment.
I think it comes down to every single animal has a little bit of their own personality, but also there's nurture and there's socialization and those things. And the part that I don't see addressed enough is how your child interacts with the animal.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have a great animal, but if the kid is allowed to stab it with a knife, well, guess what? That animal's eventually, most likely, going to do something to protect itself that's going to involve harming the child.
Yeah.
So you can't just completely put all the responsibility on the dog. The bulk and the majority of the responsibility is on the dog. But the responsibility is on you as a parent to make sure that the child is treating the animal with a decent amount of respect. When the kid's 1 or 2 or whatever, I don't expect the kid to know how to interact with the animal.
Yeah.
But if they're taking something and trying to beat the animal with it, that's where you need to be there to stop it.
Yeah.
You have to be there to say, okay, you're not going to do that. You don't do that. You have to correct that. So it's not just, oh, is the animal good around the kid? Is the kid good around the animal? And you need to address those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a give and take. It's both.
And the last tip, you guys, is just go with your gut feeling. Like, you know when you're ready to have a child and when you're ready to start a family. If you're not ready yet, if there's nothing saying in that there's nothing saying that you're I forgot what I was saying. Thanks, Sophie. You suck. There's no rules. Like, these are just tips. These are just, things that we went by. We don't have, everybody's different. Every person has their own rules for when they know that they're ready to have kids. That's all I'm trying to say. Go with your gut feeling and go with, how you feel if you're ready. Don't let anybody pressure you into having kids. Having kids, having a child is a blessing. It truly is. But it is hard work. And nothing can prepare you for being a parent. There is no book. I'm sorry, all these people out there that write books, yeah, they're helpful, but every child is different. I read countless books before I had Alex, and it's some of the stuff came in handy, yes, but he is his own baby, and that's how all kids are. The books are there to help, just as guidelines, but they're not going to tell you how to raise your child. So, and that's like these points. These points are just here to kind of help you, if you are struggling with, okay, am I ready to have a kid? These are just some of the things that we thought about, when we were ready to have kids. Are we financially stable? Because that's one. I knew I didn't want to. There's nothing wrong with having to depend on, the government or welfare. A lot of people do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But I knew for me, like, I wanted to have a stable career, and I wanted to have, be able to have savings built up, before I was ready. Nothing's 100%. You can't be 100% ready to have a kid. You just have to go with your gut feeling and just be as prepared as you can be.
All right, I'm going to disagree with some of that.
Ah, damn.
I don't think anybody knows 100% whether they're ready or not. You have an idea.
Yeah.
You make preparations.
Mm-hmm.
You be responsible. If you're on welfare, it's probably not the best idea to try to have a baby.
No, it's not. But sometimes things happen. Like, if your significant other dies or something and they were the main income, then you have to be on welfare for a little
understand,
bit.
like, if you have a business or something that goes under or something like that, and that happens, but I probably wouldn't be trying to have a child while I'm trying to struggle and get my life back in order.
No.
That's there to help you. That's there as a tool to help you get your life back in order.
Yeah.
You should probably try to get your life back in order. It goes back to what I was talking about earlier. If you have all that chaos going on and then you add a child into that, and then your sleep pattern's not normal, you're not able to think as clearly, you're not able to get things done that you would normally get done, then it's just if there's already stress on you and you're already barely making it like that, it's not going to be a good situation for you or the child, most likely. It's just, nothing's ever going to be ideal, but do yourself a favor and try to create the best opportunity you can for you and your child, because it's stressful enough. Having a good, healthy kid is stressful enough. And it's not like it's all stress. I love that little guy. He's fantastic. I wouldn't trade him for anything, but if I didn't have the stability that I do have, it could be a lot worse. It would be really bad for everybody, because I know that I wouldn't be as happy as I am most of the time. I know that would affect him, and it's not a situation you want to try to raise a child with. If you can help it, you want to improve your situation first.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you hear all the negatives about having a kid, and you hear other people say, "Oh, it's the greatest thing," And it's friggin' great, man. It is amazing. It's one of the most incredible things, one of the most incredible feelings, but everybody says that. And other people say, oh, it's so stressful and it's so hard. Sometimes. Not all the time. A lot of time. Most of the time it's great. Most of the time it's fantastic. Sometimes, he'll have he'll be teething or something like that, or be in pain, and he gets fussy and stuff like that, and it gets to the point where there's almost nothing you can do. There's very little you can do to kind of ease it. There are times where it's stressful. There are times where you're gonna worry and everything, but overall, it's just not what people made it out to be to me. It's a lot better.
That is going to conclude our video for today. Thank you guys so much for coming to our channel and watching the video. Leave a comment below if you are a parent, and like, how did you know you were ready to have a kid? Leave a comment below on one of the things that told you that, okay, yeah, I'm ready to have a kid. Maybe it'll help someone else out too. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
See you later.